Mpumalanga police are investigating multiple cases of murder after a woman, as well as her twin sons and a daughter, were hacked to death in their house at Phola Park. Pete Retief, Mpumalanga police spokesperson Selvy Mohlala, joins us for more on this. Selvy, good afternoon. It is rather sad to hear about this development. What do we know about, or what do you know rather, about these multiple murders that you're investigating?
Afternoon, Hugo, and afternoon to our viewers. Indeed, it is a sad day to us as the people of Mpumalanga and the police in Mpumalanga. Yesterday evening, we had a family that came to one of our stations in Pete Retief. They were complaining that they could not, get hold of their family members who are staying at Tandukanya Township in Phola in Pete Retief. Then we went with them to the house that belonged to that particular family. Unfortunately, we found that the house was locked and we had to force our entry. And unfortunately, we discovered a body of a 11-year-old boy that was on the floor in the kitchen. While we were still surprised, we proceeded in terms of our investigation. When we checked into the other room, we found 3 extra bodies, that the body of a 47-year-old woman, another twin brother to the one that we found in the kitchen, who's also 11, boy, as well as a 6-year-old girl. It was unfortunate. And then when we look, trying to do our investigation, we could see that unfortunately they were hacked with an axe. My apologies to those that have got very sensitive, that are very sensitive here. They were hacked with an axe, both of them, and then the paramedics certified them dead. Now, what we also found out, it was that they were last seen on Tuesday alive. Since then, they've never been seen by anyone. And up to so far, we don't have any suspect that has been arrested. But we have requested that there is a husband, Mr. Shongwe, who was staying with them. We hope that he might be of high assistance in terms of the investigation of the police. And we request that he perhaps contact the police at Pete Retief, perhaps who can assist in terms of giving more information so that these particular perpetrators can be apprehended. I mean, it's sad indeed, you go to us as the police, as well as I believe the community as well.
Now, Selvy, you've indicated that they were last seen alive on Tuesday. When do you suspect that the murders actually occurred?
By looking at their bodies, you could suspect that they might have been killed by Tuesday, because there was some signs or symptoms of saying that they have been killed a couple of days ago. Obviously, the order will sense it that it seems as if they have been there for quite some time. That's how we suspect that perhaps the likelihood is that they might have been killed on Tuesday, being locked there, and then all these days they were inside that particular house, unfortunately.
Have you had a reaction of some sort from the neighbours? Because I would imagine that being in the township, if I heard you correctly, that there is a very close proximity to their murders, and that the nature of the deaths, if they were hacked to death, a little bit graphic, if you will, and apologies to our viewers that are sensitive, is that there would have been screams and cries for help, I would imagine.
Hugo, we share the sentiments with you. That's exactly what, when we were doing the interrogation into the neighbors, to say that it's so surprising and it's unusual that in a township somebody will be killed and the neighbors will not hear that to come to the rescue. We used to a situation whereby the neighbors who are the ones, is either they are going to call the police or they are going to intervene in terms of assisting. But in this particular situation, it's a strange situation that no one understands how it happened, that 4 people can be killed. I mean, with an axe. You would expect that when somebody raises an axe, there would be some kind of fighting, there would be some kind of screaming, and so on and so forth. But for one person to kill, or a couple of people to be killed at the same time, 4 of them, without the neighbors hearing the screams, without the neighbors seeing anything, and even the very same situation of saying that they were last seen on Tuesday, but then no one from the neighborhood could detect that something is wrong within that particular house. I mean, we expect the children to go out. You'll expect that an 11-year-old or 11-year-old children would always want to go out very early in the morning and go and play on the ground, and they would like to play until late hours in the evening. That's what we expect from children. But if they don't see them, then something must just come up and say that there's something suspicious on that particular situation. But unfortunately, no one, even the neighbors, could detect that or could be suspicious of anything until the family were suspicious when they tried to call them, that they couldn't pick up the phones and then they could not get hold of them. It's so strange and surprising. You are correct, and we share the same sentiments with you. However, we continue in terms of our investigation.
Very quickly, Selvy, if you will, 2 final questions. The first one being, is the husband a suspect? And you've mentioned that he lived in the residence with them. Like the family, he hasn't been seen since Tuesday and obviously hasn't come back to the house. And the second question certainly is around the family members that came to the police station to alert you that they failed to get a hold of their relatives. Had they gone to the house before? Because I'd imagine if I cannot get hold of one of my family members, I'm going to go to their home and look for them. If I can't find them, then potentially go to the police station, as opposed to they're not picking up their phone, let me go to the police.
It's one of the situations that we're faced with. Let me start with the one for the husband. Look, for now, he's not a suspect, but he's somebody that he can perhaps assist in terms of the investigation. However, we are not going to narrow our net to say that we focus on one person. So for him, or for us to look for him, is that because he's the father of the last born. So he may have information that can assist in terms of our investigation. Perhaps they've got enemies. He might know those particular enemies. He can share the names of the enemies or people that maybe they've been fighting with them, or they had some threats maybe prior to that. He might be able to assist us. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that should we found that his information does not tally, he cannot be converted into a suspect. But for now, he's not a suspect. We are looking for him. As to the issue of the families, look, the various families, they behave in different ways. For now, some of the families would visit each other over the weekends. And the mere fact that the family was seen alive on Tuesday, which means that we suspect that they might have visited the family prior to that, maybe on weekend or on that particular Tuesday. However, like I've indicated, we are not going to narrow our investigation. Whoever that we are going to, bring within the basket in terms of interrogation, we'll see how it leads us. If we found that somebody's information really does not convince us, or it's something that is worrisome, or something that is suspicious, we wouldn't hesitate to convert that particular person into a suspect, inclusive of the very same family members. If we feel that they need to be converted into the suspect, definitely they will be converted into the suspect, because if we suspect that what prompted them not to go and check into the house or come directly to the police station, then we will take it in that particular way. However, we will utilize our expertise in terms of investigation, would ensure that at the end of the day, the perpetrator or the perpetrators are being brought to book. And then with the experience that we have in Mpumalanga of cracking the very difficult cases and arresting, we'll continue to do that. Definitely sure very soon we will be coming to the public and saying that we have arrested the suspect or the suspects who were involved in this gruesome murder of the family of 4.
We certainly look forward to that information, Selvy. Now, this figure of 4 deaths, unfortunately, adds to the catastrophic numbers that we know around GBV and femicide. Are you, as the SAPS, on any campaigns to create awareness? Because a lot of the communication that we get from you is post the crime. What is happening ahead of the crime, or to prevent some of these crimes? Any advocacy going around and educating men around the demerits, if you will, of gender-based violence?
That's correct. From our side as the SAPS, especially in the province of Mpumalanga, we have been advocating the issue of everyone being against gender-based violence. We have gone into various areas. We have pamphlets that we always issue. We've got the slots that we go on various community radios and the national radios that covers our province. We've been talking about that on daily basis to say that look, we don't have to wait. One slight injury or one slight raise of a hand to a woman or to children, it's enough. They must come to report to us as the police. And we have seen the number of people that are coming and report these particular matters now, and it becomes popular, and we're happy that they're reporting this particular case. However, we're also at the same time still worried that we have seen situation of this particular nature. I might add another one. Last week, we had the other one on the side of Ngangala region in Phola Park in particular, whereby one child was found thrown into a pit toilet, and unfortunately there was a mob justice whereby the community took their law into their own hands. They killed the family or the family of three. So these are the issues that we are trying to fight, working hand in hand with the communities, with our structures, like the CPF and everyone. The Amakosi, we've had meetings with Amakosi. We've had meeting with the traditional leaders and the traditional healers in the province. We have met almost each and every stakeholder, and we're talking about the very same issues of gender-based violence and femicide. So it's a campaign that is ongoing. We're not going to stop now, Hugo. We'll continue until everyone understands, and then until everyone is on the side of the police and working hand in hand with the police. It's so unfortunate that they still happen sporadically in certain areas. But the main painful part, Hugo, is that when they happen, you find that we lose many lives in once. We like I've indicated, we have lost 4 in the side of Phola Park last week. We have lost another 4 again this week. So we cannot allow to lose this kind the magnitude number of lives and keep on saying we advocate in terms of talking alone. Talking alone is not going to assist. The community must come forth, especially men must come forth and say that enough is enough. We are not going to allow any form of gender-based violence and femicide. So if we don't protect, then unfortunately we are going to lose our community. But that's our stand as the SAPS in Mpumalanga. We've been advocating this particular issue. We'll continue to do so.
Selvy Mohlala, appreciate your time. Mpumalanga Police spokesperson Selvy Mohlala coming to us on the back of that gruesome murder in which 4 individuals lost their lives.